One, Russell Westbrook will be a great influence around Anthony Davis. His intensity is something that can't be denied and should only rub off on AD to take every single night as if it's a do or die situation. Also, as LeBron gets up there, year 8.
Russell Westbrook putting the West in Westbrook. He's heading out there after just one season in the district where he averaged for the 4th time in 5 seasons a triple-double for the year. He heads home to Los Angeles to join LeBron, AD, and the Lakers. The deal agreed to yesterday has LA getting Russ from the Wizards in exchange for LA's number 22 pick last night, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and KCP. The trade isn't official until August 6th when the salary cap becomes official, and when it does, the Lakers are far from done. That's because LA only has 5 players currently on the team, 4 of which are on guaranteed contracts. They have over $120 million allocated next year to their new Big Three and have about $130 million on the books overall, including dead money. There is a ton to get to, so none better than ESPN NBA front office insider Bobby Marks to break it down now, joining us this morning on SportsCenter. Bobby, good morning. How do the Lakers now fill out the rest of that roster?
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do in Los Angeles as far as this offseason, and as you saw with that chart, $130 million tied up with five players, $6 million below the luxury tax, but the Lakers do have free agents, Talon Horton-Tucker. They have Alex Caruso they can bring back. They've got bird rights on both players. Keep an eye on what happens to Dennis Schroeder, potentially to use in a signing trade to bring back players. But there is still a lot of work to be done as far as filling out all those holes for the Lakers this offseason.
So Westbrook will be the 3rd former MVP to start 4 straight seasons with a different team, going now home back to LA. Westbrook leaving the Wizards after just 1 season. How does this deal impact Bradley Beal's future in the district?
Yeah, I actually like what Washington did on Thursday night. I actually considered them one of the big winners here when they took the Westbrook contract and they broke it up into Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma. Players like that. And I think what's going to happen now is that GM Tommy Shepard, he's going to have to sell the future to Bradley Beal. He is going to have to show him how this roster is going to look potentially in 2022, which is next year, when they could have $25 to $30 million in cap space. And you're almost going to have to treat Beal like a free agent. You are going to have to recruit him. He's extension eligible starting on October 1st. And you are going to have to show him what this roster is going to look like, not just now, but also in the future.
Beal entering the last year of that contract, like you mentioned, poised to be a free agent next offseason. Bobby Marks joining us this morning on SportsCenter.
Mr. Triple-Double, Russell Westbrook is headed to L.A. in a blockbuster trade with the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and the 22nd pick in yesterday's draft, which turned out to be Isaiah Jackson of Kentucky. Now, look, assuming the deal goes through, the Lakers will have 3 of the top 7 active leaders in career points per game next season. The trio is combined for 30 All-Star, All-NBA selections. According to Elias, they joined Karl Malone, Shaq, and Gary Payton with the 2003-2004 Lakers as the only trios to enter a season with 30 such selections. And all you can say is wow if you're from LA. NBA reporter Dave McMenamin joins us now with more. Dave, we've got another big 3 here in LA with Westbrook, LeBron, and AD. So how do the Lakers see all these guys fitting together?
Wow, indeed. You're talking about Russell Westbrook at 32 years old. For the last 5 seasons, he averaged a triple-double, but it's not an obvious fit because LeBron James is such a ball-dominant player. Now, the LA Times reported that Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and LeBron James all got together at James's residence in the last couple weeks to hash things out and make it clear that everyone would be willing to sacrifice for the good of the whole. And I had a league source telling me that Russell Westbrook can be nothing but great for Anthony Davis in terms of his intensity rubbing off on the young big man. And so Anthony's motor gets going more so in the regular season. And let's not forget that LeBron, as he enters into year 18, going to turn 37 years old in December, It's not the worst thing in the world to add a guy who played 65 out of 72 games last year, who is durable, who is willing to take on a big load in the regular season, and perhaps you can save some of LeBron's legs and his body for the postseason where it really matters.
That would be huge for a Lakers team that was banged up with injuries last year. And Dave, we know that the Lakers finished 7th in the West last season. We talked about the injuries, but they also depleted a lot of their bench in this trade. So what other moves could we see them make this offseason to improve their roster?
Yeah, Ryan, they had to do a lot of them. They only have 4 guys under contract right now when you talk about the big 3 plus Marc Gasol. First, you look at their 2 guys that they have the birds rights, 2 guards in Talen Horton-Tucker, who they've already made a qualifying offer to make him a restricted free agent. So anyone who wants to make an offer towards him, the Lakers could match. Alex Caruso, another guy who is an unrestricted free agent, but they're going to make a deal. But look at veteran minimum type guys. We're talking about Carmelo Anthony. We're talking about J.J. Redick. The Lakers were 21st in three-point shooting last year. And a guy they could target with their mid-level exception is Patty Mills out of the San Antonio Spurs. Championship experience, great international experience, playing in big, huge games, and he can really shoot the ball from the outside. The Lakers are going to need to add some shooters here because they already stripped away their best one in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in the Russell Westbrook trade.
And they'll need a lot of depth on that bench. That could be a great answer for them. Dave McMenamin with the very latest on the Lakers' big deal.
Trade deadline to big trade in the NBA. New big 3, LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook. When the deal goes through, Lakers are just going to have 4 players with guaranteed contracts on their roster: LeBron, Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and Marc Gasol. But each is a multi-time All-Star with a combined 37 All-Star appearances between them. Still, they have some work to do to round out that entire roster. ESPN Lakers reporter Dave McMenamin joining us now on SportsCenter. Dave, what's been the reaction in L.A. to this new big 3 of Westbrook, LeBron, and AD?
Well, Jay, certainly this is a unique type of fit they're trying to put together with LeBron at the stage he is of his career, Anthony Davis, ascending talent, and then Russell Westbrook tapering off to some degree. Now, on the plus side, I had a league source tell me that, 1, Russell Westbrook will be a great influence around Anthony Davis. His intensity is something that can't be denied and should only rub off on AD to take every single night as if it's a do-or-die situation. Also, as LeBron gets up there, year 18, going to turn 37 years old in December, having Russell Westbrook be able to take innings during the regular season, to borrow a Jeff Passan term, be in there and play full bore will allow LeBron, on some extent, to have moments where he doesn't have to carry the load during the regular season. Now, on the flip side, there are some fit questions. Russell Westbrook shot just 31% from 3 last year. They shipped out Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was their marquee three-point shooter on their run to the championship in the bubble a couple years ago. And the deal that they didn't do with the Sacramento Kings would have yielded them another shooter in Buddy Hield. So shooting a big question mark here, but certainly, as the LA Times reported, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook all got together on the same page a couple weeks ago at LeBron's house and said, we'll all sacrifice whatever needs to be done in order to make this work.
So we just saw the team's current roster featuring just the 4 players with the guaranteed contracts. So what's the front office plan for filling out the rest of the roster alongside that new big 3?
Well, you start with the guys who they would have the rights to be able to retain to go above the salary cap. Talen Horton-Tucker, they've already tendered a restricted contract, a qualifying contract that would allow him to be a restricted free agent so they can match any deal from the outside. They like him a lot. The second-year guard who they got in the second round a couple years ago. Alex Caruso is a free agent, and that's someone who they've also grown in their program. They would like to keep if the price is right, but they're going to have to look outside, and it's going to be a lot of veteran minimum contract type of guys. The names that you're going to hear are players like Jeff Green, Carmelo Anthony, players of that ilk, guys who have been around a lot who would like to join a potential championship club? And then what do they do with the taxpayer mid-level exception? That's going to be key, vital for what they do. They break it up to try to pay a couple guys above the veteran minimum contract, or do you go after a name like a Patty Mills from San Antonio, a guy with championship experience who is a dead-eye three-point shooter? Because they're going to need to add shooting to this group as much as they're going to just need to add some bodies to fill out a full roster.
Yeah, and LA, once again, the second shortest odds to win the 2022 title behind Brooklyn. Dave McMenamin, good to see you, bro. Let's go Russell Westbrook by the numbers as he gives LA its new big three. LeBron, AD, Westbrook combining for 34 All-Star selections. They'd be the second team to have a trio with that many, along with the 2011 Celtics, who featured Shaq, KG, and Paul Pierce. Gives the Lakers two of the best playmakers of all time, LeBron and Westbrook, combining for 283 career triple-doubles. Westbrook is the all-time leader in that category, LeBron ranking 5th. There's a question, though, how they're going to fit. Dave just talked about it a bit. Westbrook shooting just over 30% from three in his career, the second worst all-time among players with 2,000 attempts in an area the Lakers ranked 21st in last season. All right, we get some other notable picks as we get to the NBA draft last night. Cade Cunningham, Big 12 Player of the Year out of Oklahoma State, went number one according to the overall to the Pistons, rather. According to ESPN Analytics draft projections, Cunningham has the best chance to become an all-star in this year's class. The Rockets selecting guard Jalen Green, second overall. He became the second number one overall recruit to bypass college. He had 30 points and 7 assists in his lone G League playoff game. USC's Evan Mobley heading to the Cavaliers with the third pick. The big man becoming the first player to win Pac-12 Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. Toronto grabbing Scotty Barnes out of Florida State with the fourth pick. Barnes holding opponents to 25% shooting as the primary defender on jump shots last season. That was the best mark in the ACC. And rounding out the top five, Jalen Suggs going to the Magic. Suggs averaging a D1 best 24 points a game against top 10 teams last year and hit that remarkable buzzer beater in the Final Four